So we're looking at shading shapes from fractions and decimals, and we're going to be looking at how to convert the two at the same time. So I can see that from the question in the assessment that shading 3/4, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to count the number of squares that I've got, so I can see that there are 8 squares there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find an equivalent fraction, so it's out of the 8 to start with. So obviously to get there we're going to times that by 2, so I'm going to do the same on the top. I'm going to times that by 2 as well, and that's going to be 6. So I have to shade any 6 squares in, so I can leave the 2 blank. And the same again, but this time I've got a decimal, so that is the same as 25 over 100, or a quarter. Again, I have the 8 squares, so I need to think how I'm going to get to do that. So again, it's times by 2, so it's any 2 squares I shade in for that. So the 0.3 to a fraction is the same as 0.30, which is the same as 30 over 100, or 3 over 10. Any of those would be fine. It doesn't say to simplify it, so both of those are correct. So on your action sheet, I want you to copy out these 4 diagrams and shade each of them in, so it's 4/5 for each of them. So you need to count the number of squares and then work out the equivalent fraction and then shade from that. Have a go at that now. Pause the video. So if we look at the first one, we can see that there are 5 squares or rectangles. I'm going to shade in 4 out of the 5. I don't need to change it in any way, so I can leave 1 spare. The next one, I have 10 squares or rectangles, so I'm going to times that fraction by 2, so I have to shade in any 8 of them. The third one, I've got 20 squares, so to get to that one we're going to times that by 4, so I need to shade in any 16 of them. And then the last one, I've got 4, 4 and 6, that's me 14 squares, which doesn't quite work out with the easy multiplication. So if I times them together, I'm going to end up needing 11.2 squares shaded in, which clearly isn't very easy to do with that, so it's unlikely you'll get a question like that in an exam. So you're going to have a go at these questions. There are 6 questions. You need to draw each of them twice, so you can shade them in according to the fraction and the decimal either side of the picture. Or you can do it in 2 different colours, it's up to you. So there should be 12 answers by the time you've finished. Convert the decimals to a fraction and then find the equivalent that you need to shade in. They all work out nicely, so there should all be whole squares, no half squares going on. So you need to pause the video and complete the questions on your action sheet, showing the working out as you go. Your teacher will mark your work.